the 19th day of February, and it's a cloudy day, the kind of day I want. And finally got back out here in the woods, and I started walking at 8:22, basically 8:30, and here it is, a little after about 8 or 11:15. So that's about 3 hours we've been out here, and we finally came up on our first shed in a roundabout way. There it lies in a pile. I'll walk down here. Whoops, gotta watch out. Stumbling and bumbling your way through the timbers. And here we are. Very much dead little buck. A little forkhorn. Let's kick him over here. Yeah, there's his jawbone too. We'll get that. Oh my, well, get it up there. Get that stick out of there. Well, that could have been a coyote kill, because he isn't definitely in Hard and Horn. So, but I want to emphasize this. As you notice, nothing went to waste on that. It fed many birds, and it fed many probably small possums, coons, and the coyotes. Anyhow, one deadhead. Now remember, I'm going to pick that up. I got the film of it. And in Iowa, you have to turn those into your game warden, and he'll come down, and now they fasten a tag actually on to the antlers. So we got documentation here with the video. Yeah, we got the time, but hard time getting the rest of that in there. Anyway, February 19th, right at basically 11:30, 11:19. One little deadhead down, and there's his jawbone up there, so that was pretty cool. We got both of them. And it's right down here in the bottom, and I suppose, like I say, a coyote probably really ravished it. I want to make that clear. It's not the most pleasant thing if you were hunting and you lose a deer. It's not going to go to waste. I'd venture to say more fish and stuff like that go to waste by leaving it in the freezer longer than its due date. And but out here in the nature, in the woods, in the wild, the predation, what you couldn't find, they will. And so don't get down on yourself. And I know there's a new fad here in Iowa. They want to have a tracking dog. And well, to me, a certain amount of animals are going to escape. If you can't find it in a short distance, probably didn't kill it anyway. But like I said, and if you did kill it and you didn't recover it, it still didn't go to waste. So it would just be your turn to give back to Mother Nature. So I'll get his head off of here and get on back to shed hunting. Yeah, we'll find another casualty of the winter. You can see this was quite a little deer, bright red. Yeah, a little scapula over here. Wasn't none too big. Well, like I said, nature takes care of its own. Maybe I'll run into the body in here somewhere. Anyway, that's two that aren't among the living. Well, there's an old white bone. So, as you can see, we still have some snowpack in this area. But if there was a sizable antler, I'd see it. Yeah, I'd like to make a statement here. You know, there's so many on YouTube channels 10 tips, 12 tips, whatever. They all got, they must have found an antler one time doing that, so that become the constitution. Well, it's not. Because when I'm standing here, I'm going to zoom around here and show you. This area right here, I would consider to be the one of the most prime places on my property to find shed antlers. And over the years, I've found absolutely none. As you can see, most of the snow's melted off. It's a south-facing slope. And as I turn around here, you can see those white vast areas down there. Those are the clover plots and the wintergreens. And there's another one over here. So the deer would gravitate down there, which they do in numbers, and forage. And on most years it wouldn't be as foraged down as it is, but lack of any other food source, it got cropped off. But this would be the ideal spot. The wind's blowing right into our face right now out of the north, out of the wind, pretty thick cover. I leave it trashed out like this for the sole purpose of finding a shed. So what I'm trying to get a point across is, if you find a shed one spot one time, that's congratulations to you. But there's no dead set rules in shed hunting. The only thing the biggest tip that I can give anybody, and that's to go and walk until you feel uncomfortable, then leave and take the results of that. Because there are no professional rhyme or reason ways, unless you've got a dope pile somewhere and a bunch of barbed wire stretched around it, which is highly unethical, that the buck antlered animal could come in and prematurely get trapped in that. But so that's not a good idea. But as far as any tips, the only tip you can rely on is to go. And you can find them in the first 15 steps from your van or your car or your truck or whatever, or you may never find them in 15 miles. And that's the reality of shed hunting. Here's part of the shed hunting that I really enjoy, because this is really hunting. This is not setting in a predetermined stand site or a blind or whatever on a field. You have to get out, and the only way you're going to find a shed is you're going to have to go hunt for it in the hardest hunting form of walking. And here we're down at the creek, and I want to show you something here this is the adventure part about it. As you can see, the creek, it's been froze over, but it also had a warm spell, and where I'm going to cross right here is all broke up and stuff. And so this brings back the little kid in you, that your adventure of crossing through the creek and falling in, getting a boot full of water. But I want to get over there with that big piece, and you can see that's a good 6 inches thick. So I'm going to cross on this big piece, because it's probably about the same thickness, and hopefully I can hopscotch across there. And anyhow, when I get over there, if I get over there dry, let's see, as you can see, my pants are dry now. So if I get over there and I got wet pants, you'll see the adventure part. And like I said, this is what's cool about shed hunting. You have to get down. No guarantees. And they're not going to kick them up like a rabbit or anything like that. You're going to have to walk right up on them. And the only way you're going to get that done is not through technology, but by getting your ass out in the woods and getting it on. We got to the other side. My pants are dry, but I tell you right now, that water right there was a good almost 2 feet deep. And so if you'd have stepped in that, but once I got on this slab of ice, it was thick enough that I could hopscotch over here. And like I say, that's just the adventure of shed hunting. Oh, it's not all about having to find a big one or a little one or any of them. It's just you put yourself out there in winter wonderland. And we'll get on up the hill here. Well, there's a situation now I'm faced with now. There's still a lot of snow on that slope. And actually that's a southeast facing slope. But apparently it doesn't get warm in the morning as the sun would be there. And the afternoon sun is on the other side of that ridge up there. Because it's showing right there it's not benefiting anywhere from facing southeast, and the snow hasn't melted out of there. So I'm not going to waste my time walking in there today. We're supposed to get up to 50 degrees here in a couple of days, and what we need right now is a good rain. And you get a good rain, that'll take that snow right out of that timber. Yeah, as I'm walking down through these areas, I haven't been in this area until, well, last spring, maybe summertime. I came here and mowed a trail through. But with that EHD that came through here, I'm also looking, like I say, I know possibly 2 EHD victims. One I found in October and the other one I just found a couple weeks ago. And so, like I say, down in this area where it's low and water, the creek is there, and I'm I come up short on some deers. That 10-pointer, that big 6-pointer I never did see all year. And I know they were alive. They made it through because I found their 6-pointer sheds, and the 10-pointer, I seen him on camera of last year, 2019. So I don't know if I stumble up into their carcass or not. Because like I say, I've never got down in here. And as you can tell, it's been quite cold. Snow's pretty crunchy, but that's sort of what I'm looking for, because I figure if the head was still intact and the antlers were on something, they'd be laying in this bottom ground. You'd be able to see it pretty easy. But like I said, because wasn't no need to be down here until today. Wish that doggone cedar tree was about 20 yards away from where it's at, because that's a heck of a creek crossing right here. And I've always thought about putting a stand in that cedar tree there, but it'd be way too close to this trail. But as you can see, this trail is really gets ran all year long, but it'd be just too close. But so that's the way it goes. And that's another part, you're doing winter scouting. So I'll tell you what, sheds are far in between, and it's going on 1:30 now, and so we've been at it since 8:30, and boy, this is a tough year. Well, it is 2:08. There was our find for today on the 19th of February 2020. One little deadhead buck, which was pretty good. And we're just short of 6 hours of walking. It was really neat. We covered a lot of ground in that 6 hours. And to be able to walk for 6 hours with nobody having a gun to your head in hopes to find a shed antler, that's the best as it gets. So last year I was blessed, and I show you when things happen at rapid pace. And like I say, today, so far this year, we found 2 deads and 1 shed. And there's quite a few hours in there. The first day was 6, and we got 6 today, so that's 12. Then we had another day in there. So we got about 16 hours of walking. And this is the bounty for today. And it don't get any more realistic than that, friends. The reason I want to make this point clear is for you beginners and you people that have been at it a long time, don't give up. Don't get these people that get on these YouTube channels and find pickup tailgate loads of antlers. You have no knowledge of how that come about. Now, just find what you find and have fun. But when they start making a competition out of it, usually cheating is not far behind. It was like when the bass masters would go out and they would plant 10-pound bass in the river, then they'd run out and catch them. And the same thing could happen in antlers real easy if people were unethical. And that word, unfortunately, is out there in today's world more so than ever. So just be satisfied with what you found and blow that off. Don't take that to the timber with you like you have a curse against you, because you don't. You're doing the best you can, and that's all you can do. So that's it from the non-typical. Yeah, I've been walking a little over 5 hours, and I just down here walking in this real thick, overgrown stuff. Had some trails going through it, and I'll show you what I found. And this is, I started walking at 8 o'clock this morning, and just by chance, this guy you wouldn't have seen a week ago, and I don't know the age structure of it, but it's another little deadhead, a little bitty deadhead. Oh boy, I tell you, it's a EHD, I suppose. It's looking at his rack, I know it's not been there. He's not that deteriorated, but the critter's been on him pretty good. And there again, I want to emphasize, when you look at a skeleton like this, and apparently it must have been laying right there, because that's where the hair was, a whole bunch of hair. So they drug it over there, and like I said, if you unfortunate enough, and you will be if you hunt long enough, you may not recover a shot animal, but all you gotta do is feel comfort that nothing, absolutely nothing went to waste on that animal. Well, let's see if we can pick his head up here. And you know, the story here in Iowa, sheds are legal, deads you have to call your local game warden. And I've talked to mine, and during shed hunting, he can't run down here every day that I'm hunting, so I'm taking video of it, and I'll document the time. There we go. I've got the time and the carcass. That's 3 deadheads that I've found this year, and none of them have any size to it. This is littler than the last one I found a day or so ago. And the first human hand, I'm gonna go down and pick this up. He's stuck to the ground. But, anyway, you can see boy, he's got some stench to him, so he was killed. It's well, I might have him go through the archives. Usually we don't keep those little ones, but he's got sort of a unique little rack there going for him. And well, it's just been a tough year. Well, there he is. He like I said, I don't know how he met his demise, but that's where he's at. I might have a video of him on Thanksgiving. It's ironic, he didn't die that, he probably died within 30 yards my 8-pointer died at this year, so he must be a pretty good travel corridor or two down through here. Or, like I say, if you look around, you can see how it's pretty thick in here. Low brush. Could be a good bedding spot. Like I say, it was pretty dense down in here. Pretty tough going to push all that stuff out of the way. Well, let's get him on up the road. Here it is. 10:26 on the 25th. Up here by this big round hay bale, we found something interesting. At least I know my eyes are working. There's a busted tip laying there. Pretty good size. You never found that in the snow. Yeah. Well, now I find a rack. That's the first thing I found in the last 3 days out. Must have had a pretty good fight going on. Either that or he was gouging into that big bale right there. And might have snapped that off. But, oh well, that's better than nothing. I say 10:30 basically, February 25th, 2020.